guys, it is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It is great to be with you tonight. It is November 17th, and this is Friday. It's 11:57 p.m. in case you didn't wonder. Whether you're here at night, 11:57, just 3 minutes to midnight, or 11:57 in the morning, 3 minutes to noon, or whether it's 6 a.m., 6 p.m., or maybe even just 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. Whatever it is, I'm very grateful that you're here with me on Inspirations for Your Life. And I do want to give a big kudos shout out to all of you because we have come very close to hitting our next milestone. We're on track to hit 50,000 by the end of this month. So kudos there. 49,000. It looks like about another 900 away from us hitting our milestone. So really grateful for that, ladies and gentlemen. Keep that up. And also check out my brother's show that I have, the J Moore Tech Talk Show. You can get all that by basically just visiting the QR code. If you're new here, just go ahead and pull up your phone and point over the QR code like so. Touch the yellow ellipse. You'll get my link tree as easy as that. And I know you can't really see that, but what that's going to take you to is my link tree. And you're going to see there on the top, we add a brand new section, Tools for Podcast Hosts and Guests. So you click on that and you're going to get a lot of great information, not information that people have told me to put on there, but information that I use to produce my show, information for my business, things that are really going to help you as a podcast host or a podcast guest. So definitely check that out, ladies and gentlemen, because I think you're going to be very pleased with the stuff that is there. All right, let's get into tonight's master topic. Everybody ready for it? Here it is. Understanding what will make you successful. We're in series 2, means we're in the second year, show 46, episode number 7, everyone. Great to be with you. So let's talk about what tonight is. So we're going to talk about SMART goals. So in order to be successful, you have to create SMART goals. What's a SMART goal? Well, again, they call them SMART goals. I really call them SMART promises. But this is what all the books, they call them SMART goals. I call them SMART promises. And so a SMART promise needs to be something that, first of all, is specific. Okay? You've got to know what you want. You can't go after nothing. Okay? I think that's probably the biggest thing that I want to share with you. You can't go after nothing. And so it has to be specific. You can't say, gee, I want to make a lot of money. Well, how much money do you want to make? You want to make $1 million, $5 million, 10 million, right? 10 billion. How much do you want to make? I want to get a new car. Well, what kind of car do you want to get? What color do you want to get? Do you want a Mercedes? Do you want an Audi? Do you want a Porsche? Do you want a Bentley? What do you want? What color do you want? What color should the interior be? Should it be white? Should it be gray? Should it be black? Should it be brown, champagne, coffee color? What features do you want? Do you want navigation on it? Do you want a gold trim package? What do you want? Do you want the extra tech packages, which have all the other enhanced features that I know you're going to want? Enhanced sound system. What do you want? And so get specific about what you want. When you're specific about what you want, your brain takes you as being serious. Yes, your brain takes you as being serious. Pretty cool, right? Takes you as being serious. Takes you for being serious. So how do we do this? Well, taking you to be serious is very important. So we have to have specific measurable promises. I'm going to call them promises. And the next thing you have to do is the promise needs to be measurable. Again, it's part of this SMART acronym, right? Needs to be measurable. So people ask me all the time, John, how do you measure a promise? Or you'll find it online, they call it goals. But how do you measure a promise? Well, you have to look at things like understanding your time as a metric. You can establish a time frame. You can figure out the resources you're putting into something, money, people, etc. But time is a precious resource. And so we have to be specific, right? That's probably the most important thing. Consider what you want, okay? What you want to achieve, commit to it, and get smart about it. Now, when I say get smart about it, that's the acronym, right? That is the acronym. So specific, measurable. We have to be able to measure it. And the next one is achievable. Achievable. Something you believe that you can achieve in your mind. Something you believe you can achieve in your mind. Because if your mind doesn't believe it, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to achieve it. I'm sorry to say. Okay? You're not going to achieve it. You also want to write it down and have it firmly seated in your mind. You got to measure that promise. You got to measure the desires, right? And you got to test things out, right? I think a lot of people get a little crazy with trying to measure goals, right? And we call them goals, but again, I call them promises, okay? And it's because people feel there's no way to do it, but there is, okay? You have to get serious about it, ladies and gentlemen. You have to get serious. If you don't get serious, then it's just like, it's just like, it's like, why bother? Like, why bother if you're not going to be serious about something? And people might say to me, John, well, how do you get serious? Well, I think you get serious by starting with a goal in mind, okay? A promise in mind. And so when you do this, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to work, right? You know it. But what is it? Um, I think you've got to dig deep. You've got to dig deep, okay? If you can't dig deep, then like you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. So, how does it work? Well, it works because we get our body excited about something and then, we look forward to that. We look forward to that. And by looking forward to it, then we can do some pretty amazing things. Okay? We can do some pretty amazing things. So, we get serious about our goals. That's number one. Our promises, I should say. And so now that we've got them measurable, we believe they're achievable. Are they relevant to our lifestyle and what we're living right now? Are they? If they're not, then we need to look at the goal and say, hey, wait a minute, I can't do that, right? I can't do that. And the reason I can't do that is because things are different, right? Things are different. But why? I think it's because people, okay, they get stuck. They get stuck. So how do they get stuck? I think they get stuck because of what's going on. And you might be saying, John, I don't quite get it. Well, let's think for just a moment, okay? Let's think that you could have what you want, but now you're just stuck on the fence. You're stuck on the fence. And you're stuck on the fence because you just don't know. You just don't know. And the reason you don't know is simple. It's because you get confused, right? Your body wants one thing, your mind wants another thing, your heart wants something. So you got to get everything on page. It's got to be relevant to you right now in your life. Like, let's say you just graduated college and your promise is to get yourself a car. Maybe you want a certain kind of car, but you just graduated, and getting a goal that's not relevant would be something like, I don't know, maybe you're going to get an airplane. That wouldn't be relevant to what you're doing now. Maybe in your life later on, it could be relevant. It could be very, very relevant. And I think if we could understand just a little bit, it'll be a great big difference for us. Okay? It'll be a great big difference for us. And so a lot of people get stuck. They get stuck. That's what happens. They actually get stuck. How does that happen? I think it happens because, again, people just feel that, if they can't get something tomorrow, then they can't have it. But I want to tell you that's not how it works. So as I said, it's got to be relevant to you. That's number one. So we talked about SMART. So let's go back to the SMART again so that we kind of understand this, right? So SMART means specific, measurable, achievable, relevant. And it's got to be time bound. What the heck is a time bound goal, John? Well, a time bound goal is one that has a time frame of when it's supposed to happen. When it's supposed to happen. When it's supposed to happen. That might sound crazy, right? But it's not. The reason it's not crazy is because you recognize what SMART is. You recognize that everything you have is different. Okay? You recognize that. I think people oftentimes don't understand what something means. What does that mean in English, John? Um, it means that we as people get stuck along the way because what we think we want is not actually what we want. I know that sounds really confusing, but it's absolutely the honest truth. You have to believe me. So we have SMART, promises specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So the other thing I want to tell you to do is stop looking for validation everywhere. If you're always looking for validation, You may not get it. And then if you don't get there, you're like, oh, I guess I'm just going to give up. So because somebody didn't stroke your ego, somebody give you a pat on the back, you're like, okay, I'm going to give up. Who cares? You're doing this for you. I also say the same thing about when you get a car or whatever it is. You're not getting the car. You're not getting what you're going to buy for everybody else. You're getting it for you. So you're not here to impress anybody. See, that's probably very, very important. Stop blocking yourself. I know so many people that block themselves. They block themselves. And you might be saying, why? I think it's because people listen to others and they think that they're going to do something, but then they don't. And so they block themselves, all because of one perception. Right? I think if you understand that you're trying to move forward, but yet you're not, then that's a problem. And if you don't make the right changes, that's even a more serious problem. So we have to recognize that we might not be on the path we want. We have to recognize that. And when we recognize, like, oh, I guess I shouldn't do it that way. That's all. That's all you got to do. And change your course of direction. I always say we creatively play, right? So if something doesn't go the way we want, we creatively play and we learn from it. Start living your dreams today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. Live your dreams today. That's important. Take ownership of your actions. You're here because of basically the thoughts you had before today. Now you'll be tomorrow for the thoughts that you had the days before. And you'll be days after that, thoughts you had before that. So I think those are important things to think about. Take ownership. If something doesn't go the way you want, figure out what you need to do. Don't blame anybody else. And you know what? Take daily, consistent action. If you don't get where you are, it's actually no one's fault but yours. Well, John, I can't. The economy's bad. The COVID, the this, the that. My mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my car trouble, the weather. I didn't feel good. I go on. Oh, it wasn't on sale today. Like all these excuses. So we can make excuses all day long. But if we actually decide that we're not going to make excuses for ourselves, then we're going to realize that we're no longer part of the problem. We're part of the solution. But so many people I talk to just don't realize the fact that they've got to take consistent daily action. And they got to stop making excuses, because if you make excuses, you are the problem. Hey guys, I hope you have a great rest of your night and in the wee hours of the morning. And tonight we're going to have a new master topic rolling us all the way through, yes, Thanksgiving the day before. And I have some great things. The topic we're going to talk about is a very interesting one, and I'll reveal it tomorrow. And we have some good guests coming up. We have a guest coming up on the 1st, another guest on the 7th. So really pumped for some of these good guests. We're trying to bring you guests at least once or twice a week and just inspire you with content that's going to educate you so that you're going to know that if you want something in your life, go out and get it, because no one's going to give it to you. That doesn't mean that things won't come to you. It just means you got to be focused on what you want and not let any distractions get in your way. All right, everyone. I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and you know who I am. And I am also a podcast host and a podcast coach and a specialist in helping businesses tell a story that leads to them growing and scaling and being more profitable. I typically work with companies that bring in 10 million or more. They have a story that they want to share, or they want me to find that story. And I'm so happy to do that because then we get other people curious. They'll ask questions. And then guess what? They're probably going to want to do business with you. It's better to get people to do business with you because they're curious, not because you push them or you force them. Nobody likes that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. And please do click on the believemeachieve.com or scan that QR code and make the choice and buy my team and I a cup of coffee, a bowl of fruit, or a scrumptious bowl of desserts. Either way, we'll take those pennies and dollars you invest into us. We'll put into new hardware, new technology, new equipment, new software, even new facilities to give you the most jaw-dropping, motivational content to empower you to have a life that's no more going to be about excuses, but going to be about results. So let's start today and realize everything that happens to us is because of the thoughts we've had, because of the actions we take. You have power. Use it and create success that you've always wanted. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow, all right? Be well, everyone.